Hello folks, it's Dave. I'm doing a quick intro to my video that I'm going to tell you what I got in 2024 and go over goals that I have for 2025. I keep a spreadsheet of all the cards I buy from eBay and other places, card shows and whatnot, and then I keep a running total of how much I spent minus tax. And I was really surprised and shocked. I probably spent twice as much this year as last year. And so what I want to do is maybe come up with a better plan than I've had previously. Previously, I just had in mind with those cards that I needed. I have a notebook with cards that I need for runs and player runs. So what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to target some cards that are higher on my priority list and see maybe I can even spend less but get better cards. For me to spend $500 for a card is really a stretch for me. I just don't do that. I guess I was just born too early to consider paying that much for cards when I was paying a nickel a pack for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you my plan once I write it all down, but this will serve as the intro. So here we go. I'm taping an intro to my intro that I taped 2 weeks ago and have not had time since to finish it off. In the last 2 weeks, though, I have got my cards printed. So I'm going to put this at the beginning of my video, just in case some kind of skip through this. But I got this card printed up, and I did it in the 1951 Topps style. Although it's bigger than 1951 Topps, it's like the 1968 Topps 2¼ by 3¼ size. And in that card, I've come up with two different backs, the red and the blue. If anybody wants a card, email me with your address and I'll send you one. Tell me red or blue if it makes a difference to you, and I will send it to you, no problem. And now, back to the intro. So let me show you some of the representative pickups I made in 2024. And these pickups kind of correspond to the things that I'm collecting as indicated in the description of my channel. And the first thing I listed there are father and sons and brothers cards. So let me show you just representative what I get into when I do that. So father and son MLB cards. Here is Ken Heitzelman. I get into these older early 50s cards, which I think is really cool. Not too expensive, obviously not stars. And his son, Tom Heitzelman, broke in with the Cardinals. Both played in the MLB, not great players, not long careers, but those are a couple things that represent fathers and sons. I also indicated in my description that I collect brothers cards that played in MLB. And here is Ken and Bob Aspromonte. I usually try to pick up the earliest cards I can of them, not necessarily rookie cards, but just earlier in their career, just to have older cards. Again, not stars, certainly journeyman players, but that doesn't matter. If they played in the major leagues and they were brothers or fathers and sons, I picked them up. I also kind of sometimes move into other sports, though I don't focus on them. Here is Craig Ironwood Haywood and his sons, Cameron and Connor Haywood. So here is some shiny stuff. And even Craig Hayward's card is a little newer than I normally collect, but again, fathers and sons played in NFL. And I even do kind of crossover stuff. And here is Garth Jacks. Jacks may be familiar to you who collect baseball cards. And here is a card of his son, Griffin, plays with the Twins. So that's fun to see crossover. Also, J.P. Crawford with the Mariners and his father, who played in the CFL, come to mind. The other thing I collect is Mariners cards. Obviously, I collect Mariners sets. I have a few sets. I'm not going to display them here, but I try to go after those. But to show I do shiny stuff, here is Logan Gilbert, our representative in the All-Star game this last year, one of his cards. And here's Cal Raleigh, I think one of Seattle's favorite players. And here is his card, a chrome. And recently on MLB Channel, he was rated, I don't know, one of the top 5 catchers in the league. Always hits 30 home runs a year, at least for the last couple, 2-3 years. And also add on to a couple of slab cards here and there. And I don't, like I've indicated previously, I don't really go for slab cards. I don't want to spend my money on slabs. But Jay Buhner is a favorite here. I have slab cards of Junior and Edgar and Ichiro. And I'll probably get others that are in the Mariners Hall of Fame slabs. So I'll target those. So the other thing I indicated I collect are cards of Negro League players and the first black players be given opportunities to play in the major leagues. And here is 2 that I picked up in 2024. One is Bob Trice, one of the first 20 players, also played in the Negro Leagues for a year. And here is Artie Wilson, who was a great Negro League player and also played a season in the major leagues, one of the first 20 players. The other thing I'm putting together are player runs. And here are cards for one of the players that I'm doing a run on. Not a Hall of Famer, but a very good player, a Hall of Very Good. Had great years with the Phillies. And here is his 1950 Bowman card. I saw this card and I just thought that is the most beautiful thing I think I've ever seen. It just had the love of this card. Bowman. And this is a 1947 exhibit card of Del Ennis. So I'm getting close to completing his run, but that's a couple I picked up this last year. So the other thing I'm doing is trying to complete sets of cards that I collected as a boy. And I think the ones that I'm closest of completing are the 1958, 59, 60, and I had a very good run of 1962 cards that I'm showing here. However, the 1962 set, for whatever reason, had them forever, and somehow they become lost or misplaced, and I have no idea where they are. So this last year, I picked up a lot of 300 cards to get me back started again, and I've been filling in those sets. And I'm probably close to back to where I was in my boyhood days, except for not all the major stars. And these are just a bunch of doubles that I had out of this. If anybody is building a set of 1962 tops, these are not in great condition. I guess I would consider them, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 grades, perhaps. Some of them are not well centered, and most of them have been, somewhat loved. There's a poorly cut one. That one, I have no idea. I'm going to guess maybe at 2 or 3, but I don't know. I'm not a card grader, like I said. Anybody have interest in some miscellaneous 62s? I got a bunch of here that I need to get rid of, and I haven't got on eBay to figure out how to do that yet. So that's it. That's kind of a representative sample of cards I collected in or what year am I in? 2024. Anyway, let me get this cleaned up here, and I'll show you or indicate what I'm going after. Hopefully that'll be not a very lengthy process. Okay, so it's January 20th. I started this video about January 4th, so I can see how this year is going to go in terms of goals. Anyway, let me tell you what I'm thinking for my goals for this year. Last year I bought over 1,400 cards, and I spent more than I thought I had spent, and got more cards than I thought I had spent. And I still have some big cards that I would like to get, but when they're big numbers for a card, it kind of makes me stop and think a little bit. So what I'm going to do this year is focus my attention on some of these bigger cards, and probably won't spend any more than I did before, just buy less cards, but get cards that I'm thinking about that cost more. I'm typically one that spends $100 for a card. It's really something I got to think about, and I don't do that very often. And the cards I'm thinking about, at least one of them is going to be $400 or $500 range, and that is the 53 Satchel Paige in a very low grade. So I want to pick that up. I am working on a set of the first 20 black Major League players, and I've got most of those in a raw, but I need I need the satchel to complete that set. I'd also like to get a 50s era Willie Mays and 50s Ernie Banks as well. I have some of both of those cards, more around the 1960, but I'd like something a little bit earlier for those guys. So those are going to be bigger money cards. Again, low grades. And the other thing I want to do is I want to work on my 1962 set that I've been reconstructing. So I've got most of the common cards already, and I've been plugging my way through some of the stars. But the ones that I need to get that will cost more, some of these over $100, would be Mantle, Mays, combination card, the Koufax, Banks, the Mickey Mantle set card, Gaylord Perry, Joe Torre, Frank Robinson, and Yogi Berra, and a few others. But those are some of the bigger ones that I would like to get. And then I still need high number cards, so we'll pick those up as I see them, I guess. The other thing I do is I work on player runs of players that mostly started in the 50s and ended their careers probably in the 60s, maybe 70s. So I like to do these. These are largely non-Hall of Famers, good players or players that I just remember from my day and would like to just get their runs. And then I will tell their stories on my channel when I get a run put together. I've got a couple that I can do stories on right now. And then the other thing is the Mariners have been around for 45 plus years. I'm not doing the math in my head right now. So I've got a third to half of their team sets for every year, starting with 1977. And I would like to get the rest of them. So that's the other thing I will pick up. Those aren't horribly expensive. So that's my goals for this year. I collect father, sons, and brother cards, so I'll pick a few of those up here and there. But I'm going to try to minimize those some and try to pick up some of these bigger cards. So thanks for watching. Y'all come back now. Here.